Hello, this is Jared French, and today's discussion prompt is what distinguishes freedom and liberty? And to go there, I'm going to go to the playwright William Shakespeare's Juliet, where she asks, what's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would still smell as sweet. So freedom and liberty are the same desirable thing, right? Well, not so fast. We start with liberty. Liberty comes from as we go back to the sources, it comes from the Latin Roman world. Jeff Candy places the Roman Republic figures of Cato, Brutus, and Cicero in one of the streams that exist. And so we're going to grab hold of Cicero to get an example of one of the streams. Cicero's dates are 106 to 43 BC. Candy argues that Cicero's liberty has an overriding concern with the Republic's harmony and the maintenance of the Senate's authority. Now, the primary statements to support that I found on Cicero's, coming from Cicero's on the Republic on laws, he says, unless there is in the state an even balance of rights, duties, and functions, so that the magistrate have enough power, the councils of the eminent citizens enough influence, and the people enough liberty, this kind of government cannot be safe from revolution. So, unless you have these things, this government will fail. This state and individuals will fail. He says, but if people hold the supreme power and everything is administered according to their desires, this is called liberty, but it's really license. And so there Cicero even says that we're enslaved to our desires. That's not a good thing. That's not liberty. So liberty. Now freedom. Freedom comes from the Greek world. So we take a step back farther, older than the Roman. We sample the Greek philosopher Aristotle, whose dates are 384 to 322 BC. Moria Walsh argues that Aristotle's freedom concept has the capacity to direct oneself to those ends which one's reason rightly recognizes as a choice worthy. Kind of break that down with the primary source. We go to Aristotle's Politics. Now, in his Politics, he argues that all possess freedom. He says, whenever the ruler owe their power to wealth, this is oligarchy. And when the poor rule, it is democracy. Okay, he kind of brings this kind of contrasting of money and freedom. He says, few men are rich, but all men possess freedom. And wealth and freedom are indispensable for the state's existence. Okay, so freedom. And so where do we get the reason? The reason comes in here. He says, but there are admittedly three things by which men are made good and virtuous. These three things are nature, habit, and reason. He goes on to develop how all are born with natures. We develop habits. And then the soul is divided into two parts, one of which is possessed by reason, and the other is not rational, but is capable of obeying reason. So he sets up this internal struggle where we need to become reasoned, self-ruling individuals that benefit the individual and the larger society. Now, these are broad brushstrokes, but do you see similarities but yet nuances? Cicero's liberty, that the individual and the government find this state of liberty when they hold themselves to a standard and balance, and then balance it out. Aristotle's freedom values when all with natures can grow habits and ultimately reason, and then discern what is the worthy choice that's not forced upon them. And so hopefully you see here that there's Shakespearean level drama can ensue if you're just throwing around these terms, because there are some uniquenesses. And you can start to beat up on one another because aren't we on the same page? No, you're really not. And I look forward to hearing how you are working through this and discussing more with you on the discussion boards. Thank you. Bye.